Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the final match in this series, Chicago versus Philadelphia. To receive serve from Chicago, Mr. Steve Virgona. Serving for Philadelphia, Mr. John Lumley. Gentlemen, we're playing the first 2 out of 3 sets, 3-all in the event of a third set. We're playing, 1 deuce and then 40-all, with the exception of a 5-all. If we get to 5-all in any of the sets, we will play proper deuce. Thank you very much. Love.
Okay, and welcome back to the Boston Tennis and Racket Club here on Boylston Street in the heart of Boston. So you've just seen a very exciting doubles match between Philadelphia and Chicago. You're joining us now for the number 1 singles game between John Lumley and Steve Virgona. I'm Mark Beaumont, your commentator. And joining me this time in the commentary box, got the wonderful Freddie Adam. Freddie, good morning. How are you?
Good morning, Mark. Testing Ryan. Move it away, a little loud. Okay. I'm very well, thank you. I had a wonderful evening with friends who I haven't seen since 2019. It's wonderful to be back.
That's great to have you back too. And so you've been watching the tennis. Obviously, it's been a week of injuries and challenges. We saw Tim get injured last night, but says he's going to play again today. What was that like in the commentary box?
Well, we were just so shocked because it looked pretty bad actually, because he injured himself in the service end and then miraculously decided to keep playing. And then on the next return to serve after they swapped ends, he was down, and it's just amazing that he's going to try and play today.
Okay, and so now on court we've got Steve Virgona carrying his ankle surgery. You can see one of his ankles is taped up there. From speaking to him, he wasn't sure how this is going to go, but he's going to do his best. And he looked okay in the doubles, but obviously doubles is a different beast to singles. So we'll see if we can detect any mobility problems. When he was playing Camden the other day,
30 love.
you could see there were some shots that he was just leaving. He wasn't going to overreach for certain shots, and obviously that's a big handicap when you're playing singles.
Yeah, this is a bit of a real tennis thing where there's so few opportunities to compete that if you are carrying an injury, that you'll have players who will actually play with an injury, because there's so few of us sometimes that you don't want to let the crowd down, and you want the time on court.
Worse than 5 pending.
Probably Steve's glad he had that doubles as a warm-up, but I'm sure he didn't want it to be just a warm-up.
Marker today is Barney Tanfield from the New York R&T.
And chase 5.
Of course, another one of the injured players. So I was talking to him earlier, and he said he's still not feeling 100%. He's going to have to see how his hip is that he hurt this week when he gets back to the club, do a little bit of training, and work to build it up again. So we had Tim out yesterday, Barney with a hip problem, Steve with his ankle problem.
The server leads first chase.
Guess that's an indication how brutal this game can be. It's a concrete floor. It's very hard. Mm-hmm. What about you, Freddie? Have you suffered injuries in the past through the game?
I think I'm quite lucky so far that I haven't.
5 yards.
A little bit of knee, but nothing fatal.
Well, that's good. I know my challenge is that I get tennis elbow a lot, and I have to make a point to warm up.
Ken mentioned that yesterday when he first started playing, that he had terrible tennis elbow. I mean, there are a number of reasons why one can get it. But one of the main things that's different than, let's say, getting tennis elbow from squash or lawn tennis is that just the weight of the racket and the ball that you're using. You can tweak your arm and then it stays with you. You just have to rest it. There's not really anything you can do.
Well, that's certainly the case. Although
40,
I've started wearing an elbow support just to help my elbow a little bit, and it does seem to make a difference. Just trying to get the chat going for the new game.
So am I.
Have you got it?
Just calling it up now.
Great. Beautiful backhand there. Now on form, from the way these guys have been playing this week, you'd have to expect John Lumley to be the stronger player, and certainly that's playing out at the moment. Lumley's 2 games ahead. Playing very aggressively. Steve didn't even try and take that force there.
Yeah, I don't think he's going to want to push off on that right foot.
I don't think
too
so
much.
too. I think he's carrying it, isn't he, a little bit. It's a testament to how much these guys all want to play, though, isn't it? That they're going to show up and they're going to play, even with.
First chase, last gallery.
Even with the challenges that they have. Into Tambor. Steve lifts it high. Lovely backhand into the corner, which John covers easily, turns out, puts on the roof. Oh, what a point.
15 love. Several leads. Chase is worse than the last gallery.
Loses the chase.
30 love.
Have you managed to get the chat going?
There's not much chat yet.
Okay. We'll get some chat going when we've got some listeners. I've got another question.
Hazard the line, Steve. Thank you.
Let's have a look. Railroad serve from Lumley. Timber shot. Virgona ducks underneath it. And forces it for quite a long chase. So just to talk about the standings for a minute then. Neither of these teams could win today. Coming after this game, we've got New England versus Tuxedo, and either of those teams could win, although Tim Chisholm obviously is coming into that game carrying an injury and having to face the world champion Camden Riviere. That being said, if Tuxedo can win the number 2 singles and can win the doubles, they will win the tournament. So I can see why Tim is showing up and wanting to see if he can win the tournament.
Not to be pedantic, Mark, but just to... Camden's not the current world champion, of course.
Okay.
So, out of respect to Rob, we should probably...
Of course. Sorry, Rob.
15 love.
Though, of course, once a world champion, always a world champion. So.
Is it like US presidents? Is it they always call you...
WC.
WC, like Mr. President.
Yes.
Ooh, just clipped the net as it went over. And an easy shot into winning gallery for Steve Virgona. Plays it off his backhand, of course, but still makes it look easy.
Starting to take the pace off the ball. He's found a serve that's working, and it's giving him a better look at the ball now.
Stays 4 yards.
Left-handers, of course, tend to lean on their railroads a lot because it's such an easy serve for a left-hander to play.
Still have to be accurate, though.
I was talking to Mike Gooding earlier, and Mike was saying that in the early days of railroads, people used to let them drop, and of course, if they drop into the nick, they're unplayable. It took a little while before returners learned to pick them off the penthouse. At one point, they were talking about banning railroads until they learned how to play them. There's a railroad from John.
Just to make sure I wasn't around.
Mike Gooding. Mike Gooding just heard that comment, and he said he just wanted to clarify he wasn't around for the banning of the railroad conversation. Mike not wanting to sound old. That being said, he did say when he started playing, they used to use sheep gut for the strings of the rackets back in the early 80s, of course. That then changed to synthetic strings, and over the years they've tightened up the tension quite a lot to the rackets that are being used today.
Oh, great serve. There's your nick serve.
There it was. Did you get the chat going? For some reason it's not working here.
There we go. I'll pass
You
that
got
to
it?
you.
Thank you. So John Murphy says, ever since Henry VIII, red-headed men have always had an advantage in this sport.
15:30.
I was reading the history of this game last night, looking for trivia questions actually, and it turned out that Anne Boleyn, before she was sent to the Tower of London, Henry VIII's wife, asked to watch one last game of real tennis before she was sent to prison. That was her final request before going away.
It was 6-5 in the third.
That's right. Let's hope it was a 5-setter.
She's pending.
We also have to thank Catherine for being denied a divorce.
Catherine of Aragon was denied a divorce
By Cardinal Wolsey,
by Cardinal Wolsey, who was a great real tennis player as well.
who owned Hampton Court Palace or lived in the country prior to Henry VIII. And Henry got miffed with Wolsey because he couldn't talk the Pope into giving him an annulment. So he took the palace away.
So I'll replay that onto the stream. So we're talking about Cardinal Wolsey, who was in Hampton Court Palace first, Henry VIII,
40-30. The
and
receiver leads.
both of whom were big tennis players. And then because Catherine of Aragon didn't get a divorce, the future history of England changed. So that's just how seminal this game is in the history of England.
Deuce.
All right, this is
Ball,
deuce.
ball. Just shy on this side.
One advantage played. Don't forget, this is best of 3 sets. Third set goes to 3 all.
chase better than 5.
Little tactical return there from John, making Steve have to get over into that, well, his forehand corner off the post.
Oh, there's another nick serve. Steve Virgona with a great volley, but unfortunately it just found the net. All right, which gives John Lumley the advantage and a better than 5 chase. Right, while they're changing ends then, I'll throw a question to the room. If you know the answer, don't say, but where in the world is there a chase 7? Does anybody know the answer to that? You know?
Server chases better than 5.
4 places, Mike Gooding says. Okay. I only know one of them then. All right, we'll get all 4.
Are you including France in that count?
Tim Chisholm's just joined me. Tim, are you going to play today? Okay, so Tim is going to give it a go today. He's just waved to me, which is great news.
Lovely shot. That's got to feel good for Steve, that one.
Oh, great dead on shot, Steve Virgona.
He's getting his iron.
Makes that look so easy, doesn't he, when he turns around and plays it off the forehand? Wild backhand there. Timber from Lumley. Backhand into the corner.
30-15.
Steve Virgona doesn't look like he wants to stretch for those really tough balls into the corner.
Whoa.
And there's another one that Steve just doesn't look like he's running for.
1 yard pending.
So I think he is definitely. I don't think he's in pain. I just think he wants to look after that ankle. I think that's what's going on.
Yeah, I mean he wouldn't be playing if it was a clear and present danger.
He said it was the tendon that controls the pronation of his foot that he tore, and that was what needed fixing. I forget the tendon's name.
40-15, the receiver leads.
It's one that goes down the
1
side of his
yard.
ankle. And if the competition had been any earlier, he wouldn't have played in it. But because the tournament got delayed a couple of times, oh, that was a rocket from Lumley. Because the tournament got delayed a couple of times, it worked for him just being able to get on court.
He's got John on the run and in the grill.
Deuce.
That was a great behind the back.
Oh, worse than a yard.
Virgona just lets that go.
Deuce.
Yeah, he's
Worse
not
than a
leaning
yard
into the
pending.
corners, is he? That's the that's the big thing here. So John Lumley pushes that into the corner. Oh, he goes for that. Had a little bit more time there, but doesn't go for that one. And John Lumley knows that Steve's carrying this ankle, and of course, like the competitor that he is going to play to his best, and he has every right to do so. Steve just stretching out that ankle there. He's obviously okay. We've got another question from Mike Gooding then. Mike Gooding says, where was Steve Virgona discovered? I'm going to put that out there on the stream. We've got about 34 listeners now. Right, on the chat, Ben Gatenbeek says there's a chase 8 at Canford.
Worst use, 2 chases.
But he's never seen a 7 outside of France. There is a 7 outside of France. I know because I've played it.
Chase. Advantage. Server chases worse than 3. Lost the chase. Game. Server leads 5-1 first set.
Game 5-1. You know, one of the things I always love about talking to Steve Virgona when I bump into him in the locker rooms and things like that is he never makes any excuses. So he's carrying this injury today. He's not his full self, but he's turned up. And when you bump into him in the locker room or anything like that, he just says it is what it is. He enjoys playing this game. Have you ever played him, Freddie?
I've played with Steve.
Okay, when was that?
For the, 2012, Claire and Rob and I flew over for the members opening for Chicago. And so Steve and I took on Rob and Claire.
Oh, fantastic. How did that go?
End of September. Oh, it's just great fun. I mean, when I was watching just before Steve play doubles, I mean, he's just, along with Tim, so exciting to watch. And the question that Mike Gooding just put on the floor about when and where Steve started, that Steve started very young, coming from lawn tennis, and came over to the UK, worked for a few years, but then took some time off. Mm-hmm. And then when he came back into the game, that's when he got his job in Philadelphia, and went there and just blossomed.
Right.
And had the best time and fell in love with the game again. And then going to Chicago, and Ashley, of course, his wife he met when he was in Philadelphia. So we've got, unfortunately,
So he's just called it. So just as a description of what's happened in the room here, this was a dead rubber game anyway. Steve was obviously carrying his injury. After that first set there, Steve just gave John a nod and said, we're going to call this. So that's it's good. It gives us a little bit of time, unlike yesterday, between the 2 o'clock session. I think Steve's done the right thing. There's no point in playing a dead rubber game on an injured leg. John was obviously way in the ascendancy there, and we wish Steve all the best with his recovery. So a shorter game than usual, but it gives us a little bit of a lunch break, which is great. Here in the commentary box, we've got some sandwiches. We'll take a break right now and come back to you this afternoon with the event that will decide the tournament. Tuxedo versus New England. Tim Chisholm is going to play. That's the big news of the day. Join us later. Freddie, thank you very much for joining me in the commentary box, and thanks for your insights as always.
Lovely, as ever. Thanks, Mark.
We'll be back after this break.
See you then.